Nourish to flourish. Learn to build a strong foundation for learning and growth. Today we are not going to cover too much nutrition, but we are going to give you the food for your thoughts, because the power of your thoughts is crucial in decision. The mind gives up before the body would. And so we are going to learn also about the molecules of emotions and how you can reframe the stories that you are telling yourself over and over again that might not be helpful anymore. And we will look into the benefits of meditation and why you should give it a try. And of course, food as a medicine. So for those ones that see me for the first time, I'm Blanka Campbell, the functional medicine nutritionist. And when I work with my clients, we always look at this matrix. And you can see that at the center of the matrix is the mental, emotional, and spiritual well-being. That is the course of the health. And then everything else, like defense and repair, the immune system and endocrine system, everything works in an optimal way if you are mentally, emotionally, and spiritually well. So what I want to do today is to educate you, entertain you, and maybe even encourage you to maybe do one small change in the modifiable personal and lifestyle factors like sleep and relaxation, exercise and movement, nutrition, stress, and relationship. And yes, stress, we talk about it in every presentation, and we will do it even today because it has impact on the body, mind, and spirit interconnections. So what does that mean? This long word, psycho, neuro, immunoendocrinology. Psycho is the soul. Why are you here? Neuro is the neurotransmitters, endorphins and dopamine and serotonin and GABA. What makes you to have emotions, the energy in motion. Immune system is the defense system. It's the police of the body that is making sure that you know how to fight against all these pathogens that are around us, but maybe even the negative thoughts. And endocrinology is all about hormones. We have all these adrenal glands and thyroid glands and ovaries and testes that produce chemical messengers that are traveling in the blood and bringing the message to every cell in your body. Yes, even the estrogen is giving messages to your heart and every other cell, even the skin cells. And what are these molecules of emotion? So guess, and I will show you in the next slide, but what's important is also the refractory period of these emotions, for how long we are keeping them in, and the cumulative effect. Because we talk about the education today and food for thought, the knowledge, I will be recommending some books throughout this presentation, and then you can check it out and maybe read some of this. So the first one is Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers by Robert Sapolsky. And what he talks about is actually the refractory period, because even though they are in a fight and flight and running away from the tiger, they very quickly forget all about it. So their refractory period is very short. And then they are again in the parasympathetic nervous system, rest and digest, enjoying their life. And so the aim for all of us is to be inspired by zebras and avoiding ulcers and stress in general. What Buddha said, and we can remind ourselves every day as well. What you think, you become. What you feel, you attract. And what you imagine, you create. And that's absolutely right. I see this with my clients, and I always tell them, you are the director, producer, and protagonist of your life. If you feel miserable, it's because you made yourself feel miserable. If you are not motivated, it's because you have decided not to make yourself motivated. And if you are overweight, It's also your decision. And you have the power to turn it all around if you know what you want and if you know your why. Then you imagine it and create it with some of the steps that I'm going to share with you. So which molecules of emotions do you maybe need to feel motivated to finally become the best version of yourself? Maybe you would want to have some endorphins. And how do you achieve them? With runner's high. So yes, it's with exercise. First, it's painful and uncomfortable. But after a longer period of time, more you run, more the pain disappears because all these receptors for opioids get established and turned on, and then you feel the runner's high. So what about starting to exercise every single day? Wouldn't that be great? That was also in the functional medicine metrics. Oxytocin is a bonding hormone, and yes, it can be bonding hormone during the intimacy of two partners. But it's also being surrounded by your friends and family, having great chat, doing things that you love with them. And it can be even cuddling a dog if you don't have people around you. But that is a crucial part in the metrics. And it's the relationship part. Relationship with other people, but even relationships with yourself. Serotonin is a happy hormone. And happiness is what everybody's chasing. But believe it or not, happiness is inside of you because serotonin is produced in your gut by gut bacteria, the good microbiota. So eating healthy food, prebiotics, probiotics, postbiotics, can help you to establish a good family of microbiota, and then in turn you can have sufficient amount of serotonin. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter. And is it good or bad? This one we actually want to have really well balanced, because if you have too much dopamine, it's addictive. So all the addiction that people might have, addiction to food, coffee, alcohol, cigarettes, watching adult films, um, playing some video games, all of this is the dopamine. And dopamine is based on knowing what that situation is going to give you or what that habit is going to give you. You can visualize it, you can feel it, and you want more of it. So you are chasing it. We don't really want to get too much of that. So we want to balance the dopamine levels and be able to also break it down and detoxify it when we don't need it. But everything is with the power of thoughts. Now I highlighted some of the molecules of emotion, let's say also negative, connected with anxiety and depression, and these are endotoxins. So remember, you have 3 trillion bacteria living in your body. They also have their own DNA, and they also produce some molecules. And these endotoxins, toxins, you can already establish it being negative, they this is also called molecular mimicry. So they mimic some of the molecules that we would want, and they take up their space. And moreover, if you have leaky gut, which is basically holes, micro holes in your intestine, these endotoxins can get through the one cell thick wall of the gut into the bloodstream. It triggers immune system. And if it's in the bloodstream, it's systemic. It travels everywhere. And so what we eat and how we take our care of our digestion is super important for our mood as well. So what are the strategies to balance the emotions, especially if you are under stress? And remember, stress is an illusion. It's you perceive it as a stressful situation. If everybody else around you doesn't see it in the same way, it is your reality that you created, and then only you can change it. And so very often people, for example, turn to music therapy. So if you have your favorite playlist, and usually it's a music that has certain vibration, certain hertz, this is expressive. So you can either play music, of course, you can do it like yourself and get yourself into a state of flow, Or you can express yourself even with dance or just listening to the music, and immediately you can change your energy. And remember, emotion is energy in motion. Chanting. Chanting is usually in yoga or other practices. It can be also in a prayer. So you are repeating certain words over and over again in certain order, and you need to focus on that. So you are in a mindful state here and now, and you are concentrated on that. Chakra balancing, so it's all about awareness. So again, you with the power of your thoughts, you can think about root chakra, heart chakra, solar plexus, and send the energy. This is what we do in hormone yoga therapy. When we are heating our arms and we, for example, put them on the ovaries. So it's this awareness and awareness and connection with your body. Last slide that you will see will be all about finding a mentor, because maybe you are saying now, but where do I start? How do I do it on my own? And you are right. It's very difficult to know what to do. You need to find a master that have been in the same situation as you are. And now this master is a couple of steps or years ahead of you, feeling the way you want to feel. That is the person you want to follow, because they have the know-how of how to do that. And I also want to tell you what very often I see with my clients. They're not aware of the power of the subconscious mind. They have some blockages and some fears. And what I would want you to maybe think about or read, as you can see, is a book by Marisa Peer. She's a #1 hypnotherapist in the UK. I have done one course with her and it's phenomenal. And the book that I have been reading, preparing this presentation, is Tell Yourself a Better Lie. Because we are lying, like everything is illusion and lie. And you can choose how you are going to lie yourself in a positive way. And she also talks about the inner child that very often has been hurt in the childhood, and there is like a sense of isolation, rejection, instability, neglect, very often sexual or mental abuse that these people are trying to suppress. And even in functional medicine, I ask about what happened to the people, because I need to know, as they carry some baggage. So the social environment, the social genomics could have imprinted and changed the expression of our genes, either switch them on or off. And we have the power to reverse it. How? So it's all about what role, function, purpose, and intention that lie the thought has for you and how you could change it. And so Marisa in this beautiful book talks about, for example, OCD, which is obsessive compulsory disorder. So people are obsessed with something, cleaning their heads or cleaning the house or brushing their teeth or washing their faces or hair or something. And very often they have created this need for control. And so going to the root cause of this might very often help you to reframe it. Other stories that I have seen and she shares is like numbing the pain of the rejection. So the child wanted to be with the parent or with somebody, wanted love, but didn't get it. And so they turned to something that made them feel better or made them to numb the pain. Alcohol, drugs, instability, and unresolved anger. So they are angry with the parents, how it was, and they are suppressing their emotions until they develop depression. They are not happy with anything in their life, despite having a nice family, despite having a nice job. So again, getting to the moment when it started is crucial, and hypnotherapy can be very helpful. Neglect and unmet needs very often lead to perfectionism, proving to the parents, look at me, how good I am. I'm the good girl, I'm the good boy, I do everything perfectly, so please see me. Food substitute for love, this eating disorder. There is a hole, the emptiness, and to fill them up with something sweet or food in general, and for a little while feeling full, but that is not a solution. So food is not a substitute for love. Food is an energy, and yes, we all have some habits and reasons why we eat, but getting to the root cause, as I say again, can help you. Maybe meditation could help you with that as well. And let me first say, meditation, it's not that you have to sit like the brain in here and meditate for 10, 20, 50 minutes. It can be a walking meditation. It can be going to sauna. That is meditation as well. You are in a present moment, here and now, and you are as observer, seeing your thoughts going through, and you can decide what you do with them. You're not judging them, you're not giving them power, you just simply move them away. So universe, I've seen this, it's actually you in verse. So people are mirroring you, and you make your own reality. So taking care of your inside universe is going to reflect later on in the outside universe. And so maybe uh, these benefits will make you start the meditation. So it helps you to change the brainwaves activity. So we know that alpha brainwaves during the meditation, by the way, alpha brainwaves are also released when you take the supplement GABA, or when you drink a glass of alcohol, you suddenly feel more relaxed. But unfortunately with alcohol, it's only a short period of time, and then the stress hits in. But with meditation, you can keep yourself in the alpha brain waves. It also modifies the genetic expression. So the genes, when you are in alpha brain waves, or actually even in a deep sleep, when you are falling asleep, it has a chance to switch on and switch off some genes. So what does that mean? We want to switch on the good genes, and we want to switch off the bad genes, or make sure that they stay switched off. So for example, if I have a genetic predisposition for diabetes, if I stress myself and increase the levels of cortisol, cortisol will increase the insulin, and insulin, when it gets depleted, it is one of the root causes of diabetes, insulin resistance and diabetes. So by meditating and therefore keeping the stress levels low, I might prevent the expression of this genetic disease that I have coded in my DNA. Also, meditation can increase the cortical thickness. So the research shows that the people that have higher IQ have also thicker cortical parts, so all the folds that we have in the brain. It reduces inflammation. Why? Because when we are in the parasympathetic nervous system, actually even when we are falling asleep, we release hormones, for example, melatonin, which is a sleeping hormone, but melatonin is also antioxidant. It enhances brain plasticity. So the brain, of course, the neurons are dying, but neurons that wire together, fire together. And if we are enabling them through the learning to connect together, we are improving our brain plasticity. Prevention of memory loss, yeah, that's connected with the learning as well, and antioxidant is the inflammation. I want to share with you why it's important for those ones that have a clinical practice or work with clients, because let's be honest, working with clients that are complaining is challenging. Typical GP, general practitioner, sees 44 clients every single day, some even 60 in the NHS, because they have 7 minutes for every patient. 70% of the patients come due to stress, the stress that they have created themselves. And of course, if they're stressed and they're sick, they are in a negative vibration and they very often complain. And I see that with me as well, but I see maximum 2 to 4 clients. So for me, it is easier to be more settled. However, before I see a client, I also meditate because I want to be less judgmental. I want to have more clarity. I want to have more compassion, and I want to have enlarged perspective. So when I meditate, I can get above the situation and look at me and my client as we talk, and it's not my ego judging. It is coming from the pure love and giving advice from a different perspective. It also enhances the immunity, being immune towards the negativity, not taking it in. It is very, very challenging for the practitioners not to carry the case studies home. And it improves the mood. So, would you want to see me angry when I do these presentations, or you want to see me in a good mood with this energy that I'm giving you? Energy, huh? So resilience, it's the keyword as well. How can you build resilience, and what is actually resilience? It is the ability to recover and flourish in the face of adversity. Things happened. Bad things, so-called, that's how we label them in the moment, because that's how we are looking them from that perspective, happened to us. But it is you who create this perception of this reality. If you try to dig deeper and look at, aha, what's in it for me? What's the advantage of the situation? Maybe you would find it. And again, looking at from this perception of maybe another person. Here you have this beautiful picture. Everybody has a different perception. So remember that the external world is a reflection of the internal world. You decide if you are a thermostat or thermometer. So what is the difference? Thermostat is inside the room. I have one thermostat next to me and it's set up for 20 degrees. And no matter what is happening inside the house, there's always 20 degrees. Okay, now I can open the window and suddenly, temporarily, it will be 18. So the thermostat will increase the temperature and get it to 20 again. So that is almost like an inner setting of the room, of the home. And imagine you have this inner setting as well. So with the meditation, you can decide how you want to feel yourself. Thermometer is outside in my garden. And now it's, for example, -3 degrees. And so it reacts to the external environment. And then it will be, sunshine comes and it will go up. So it's a victim of the external environment, but my thermostat inside is a creator. Yeah, so it's a victor of that. It has it under control. So are you a victor or victim of the external world? And how can you do it to set it up? Recommended reading, The Man's Search for Meaning. So this was written by Viktor Frankl in the concentration camp. He was a famous psychiatrist, and he was observing the prisoners, those ones that survived and those ones that didn't, and their behavior. And then he wrote the book about it. So a spoiler, I don't recommend reading it in the evening. This is what I have done. And I actually had nightmares about it. So it's maybe during the day. But one of the quotes that I remind myself is there is a space between stimulus and response. In that space, we have the power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. And every time when I get triggered by some situation and I want to quickly react, I take a space and I actually make the space longer. Could you do something like this? And if that was not enough, I invite you, if you are a yogi, to read a Bhagavad Gita. So my favorite, let's say, interpreter on Spotify, who very often recites from Bhagavad Gita, is Deepak Chopra. And I love this quote. The soul is indestructible. Spades cannot cut it down. Fire does not burn it. Water does not wet it. And the wind never dries it. The soul is beyond the power of all such things. So when we were looking at the matrix, mental, emotional, and spiritual. So spiritual, it's nothing to do with the religion. It might be for you if you are religious, but soul, the inner master, the intuition that tells you what is your purpose. We all are here for a reason. Do you know your purpose? And do you listen to your soul that cannot be destroyed by any external environments? Are you tuned in? I invite you to do so. So how can you actually close this gap? Now you know that maybe you don't have your emotions under control, that you are a victim of the external environment, and you know that you would want to be the creator of your uncompromised life, but you don't know where to start. Well, the journey to the unknown is always uncomfortable. And it takes these three things. It takes courage to step out of the comfort zone. It takes commitment to doing whatever you said that you will do despite the external environment. There will be things that you say, no, now I'm too busy. No, no, no. If you have a purpose, you have to be committed to do it every single day, and you need to be consistent. So these three C's are a key to success. Let me tell you that even with the New Year's resolution, what the research says, 1st of January, everybody starts. By the middle of February, 86% of people fail and give up because they don't like to be in the uncomfortable zone and they don't have the courage to make all the changes. They are not committed and they are not consistent. Then there is some percentage of people that somehow keep some of what they said that they would do. And only 2% of people succeed in doing what they said that they would do, and they are 100% committed. Are you in these 2%? Or do you only watch the 2% of the successful people? I know you say that this year it's going to be you in those 2%, and I trust you. So the cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. Recommended reading. This is The Hero with 1,000 Faces, written by Joseph Campbell. Because the most important is the knowing where you are and how you get to where you want to be. And it all starts with hero's journey. In every fairy tale, and let's think about Frodo, Lord of the Rings. Suddenly he was given a task and he had to get out of the comfort zone. He had this call to action. He had to do something. He met a mentor that told him what he can and should do. And he said that the mentor said, I will be there for you when you really need me, right? In any fairy tale, it's like this. And so he's going, and suddenly he crosses his threshold. Hey, this is too much for me. I can't anymore. There are too many obstacles and doubts. Is it really me, the right person to go through this? So he needs to rediscover his self-identity. And he's going to have some helpers on the way. So Frodo had his friends that were walking with him and supporting him in those situations. And there were too many trials and errors and failures. On the path, he learned new skills. He reached the rock bottom. And he had this revelation. He was very determined. He sacrificed his life for this, to grow, learn new skills, and build The key word today we said resilience, so that he can return completely changed. So he mastered the journey. This is with everything. This is with weight loss. Like weight loss, it's the topic that most of my clients come with. They would like to lose 10, 15, 20 kilos that over the 5 years they have gained because they neglected the basic lifestyle changes that they should do because they were concentrating on the career or family. They just blame some external environment, time and money and lack of resources and so on. But now they are. And so I tell them, I'm the mentor on this path, and I tell them exactly what to do. And they get to the threshold. And they start doubting if the intermittent fasting is for them, if they can really eat the protein with every meal. And they find it very boring, and there will be many things why they want to give up. At this stage, yeah, 80, 90% of them give up. They will keep some of the good habits, but they will never achieve the dream weight that they said that they would want to have. And 2% of the clients, they achieve it. So they will lose trial and error and complaining and get to the rock bottom, learn all the new skills and life lessons and get to where they want to be completely changed. This is not only with the weight loss. This is with the mindset. This is with the relationship. This is with the sleep. This is with taking supplements, with everything, you name it. So what's very important to know, and this is from Tony Robbins, are the 6 human needs. And how, like, what is your priority for them? So majority of people likes certainty. We like to know where we are going to sleep, what we are going to do, what we are going to eat, where we go to travel and when, who we speak with, who we live with. But we also like some uncertainty, some adventure. Because if you were to speak about the same topic with the same person eating the same food every single day over and over again, it would be boring. So some kind of uncertainty and surprise and adventure is needed. Some people, it's very important for them, the significance. So you start talking to them and that, I'm a CEO, I'm a manager, I live here, I have this money, I have this car, right? So the status, the ego is very important for them. Some people prefer, or it's their priority, relationship and love. There might be many parents that sacrifice their career to be almost like in a back office to make sure that their family meets all the needs that they have, and that's great as well, their choice. Growth, we somehow all like to grow. We don't like to be stuck in one moment. We want to learn something, get better. And majority of us like the contribution. So what I'm good at, what I'm doing, how can I help the society or people around me? So I want you to reflect, like, what is your pyramid? What is very important for you? Because then you know, okay, this is authentically important for me. And here is a beautiful poem, which I cannot read for you today, but I invite you to do it. And the name is The Invitation. This is a poem by Aurea Mountain Dreamer about authenticity and all the human needs. So very often people ask me, so what should I do with nutrition? So the mantra that you can repeat for yourself is, my body is the garden of my soul. So why would you want to feed it with rubbish, processed food? You know that every single cell in your body needs the nutrients. And if you start viewing food as information rather than pleasure or looking for emotions in the food, then you might achieve your dream. So what do I recommend? It's actually very easy. Eat clean food. And what is clean food? Clean food would grow in your garden. Clean food doesn't need any label because it is just one ingredient. It's a cucumber. It's a chicken. It's an egg. It doesn't have a label. That is clean food. And it is not difficult to buy and cook from clean food. Everything that is in a supermarket and it's uh, in a packaging and has a label and the label has at least 3 ingredients, that's processed. If it has 5, 10, 11 ingredients and it lasts for 3 weeks, that's a dead food that is killing every cell in your body. And so think about how could you stick to this if you have like 1 year resolution is just eating clean food. Every meal should have some probiotics and prebiotics. So how could you do it? Probiotics, it's the probiotic bacteria that fermented something. So it's in fermented products. It can be feta cheese, sauerkraut, kimchi, kombucha, you name it, everything that has been fermented. Not alcohol, please. Prebiotics is the food for the good bacteria that you introduced. So it is everything that we cannot really digest, but the gut bacteria loves it. Garlic, onion, leek, chicory, artichoke, all these things that are high in sulfur and cause bloating. Yes, that's a prebiotic. Then what every meal should have is a protein, fat, and fiber. This is a trio for weight loss and health and longevity. So what is protein? Protein is beans, lentils, nuts, seeds, tofu, cheese, yogurt, meat, fish, eggs, and much more. You need 1 gram of protein for every kilo of your body weight. So if you have 60 kilos, then you need minimum 60 grams of protein. If you have 100 kilos, you need minimum 100 grams of protein. And the protein, if you have a chicken, it's not that you have 200 grams of the chicken. It actually has only 20 grams of protein. The rest is the fiber, water, and so on. Fat, good fat. We need a little bit of fat because all the steroid hormones are made out of fat. Estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. So healthy fat is olive oil, ghee butter. If you live in an environment where avocado grows, then that is also a great source of fat. And fiber. Fiber is usually in vegetable. We have insoluble fiber. That's all fiber in broccoli and other vegetable. It's very difficult to digest and makes a good sausage-shaped stool. And then we have soluble fiber, which is, for example, psyllium husk that turns into gel or pectin. And both of them are great in combination. We need to hydrate 40 milliliters of water for every kilo of your body weight. So if you have 60 kilos, 40 times 60 is 2,400. Therefore, 2.4 liters of water every single day. If you have 100 kilos, 4 liters. Huh? How easy is the calculation? Eat the rainbow, and this is of vegetable. And why? Look, if you tell me that you are physically active, Olympic athlete, two-phase training, then of course eating fruit as a source of energy, the quick sugar that you need, is fine. If you are 45 plus, sedentary lifestyle, on a Zoom like me, it's mostly the vegetable that you want. And eating the rainbow is all the colors of the rainbow. So even when I look at this plate, I see there orange, green, purple, yellow. So it's all about the colors. And you want to have minimum 10 handfuls of vegetable every single day. Yeah. So 1 handful of cherry tomatoes might be like 7 cherry tomatoes. And it's my handful. If you are bigger than me, your handful is bigger. If you have orange, 1 orange, let's say, or if you have kiwi, 1 kiwi or 2 kiwis, depends what you can hold in your hand. You definitely want to eat local and seasonal products because we want to save our planet and we want it to be fresh. Did you know that if you, for example, pick the fruit or vegetable, within a couple of days, there is like no vitamin C. The vitamins that are water soluble, they disappear. It just it dies. You will still have some minerals and you will still have fiber. So fresh and local is what you want. Harahachibu. This sounds Japanese. And it means 80-20 rule. And they say eat only until you are 80% full. Yeah. And I like to do this rule and like do everything that you say at least for 80% of the time. So 80% of what you eat per day is super healthy, exactly what I told you. And then some 20% might be a piece of chocolate or like one biscuit if you like it, or one coffee, whatever it is for you, but it's a very, very small amount. You can have also 80-20 rule in a way that you eat absolutely perfectly from Monday to Saturday, and then on Sunday you have a brunch and a glass of wine or whatever. It's 20% rule for you. Intermittent fasting. And I would actually, this one, 16-8, I would recommend every day to everyone. The other intermittent fastings, when you fast, for example, 24 hours or 3 days, that is only occasionally and under the supervision of someone. So 16-8, it means that for 16 hours you are fasting, not eating anything, not drinking coffee, nothing, just water. And 8 hours is the feeding window. So you, for example, have your first meal at 10 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock, it's morning for me. And then the last meal, for example, at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That is already intermittent fasting. And preferably you would want to have only 2 meals a day. 3 is a maximum. And if you want to be super healthy and longevity and biohacking is your thing, you can do OMAD, 1 meal a day. Very, very popular in the community of functional medicine. But I personally cannot do it. But I had so many clients that lost 16 kilos, 48 kilos by doing OMAD for 1 year. So it definitely works. Again, let me remind you of the functional medicine metrics: mental, emotional, and spiritual. We talk about the nutrition. We talk about stress being the illusion that you make. We talk about relationship as well, relationship with people around you, and release of the oxytocin. Exercise, I did not mention, and I'm going to mention it now. You need to exercise every single day. 10,000 steps is a minimum, and then you would want to do preferably 5 to 10 minutes of either high intensity interval training, yoga, or some stretching. That is the absolute minimum. If you want to exercise more, great, but this is a basic minimum every single day. And last but not least, sleep and relaxation. So what makes you relax? Is it sauna? Is it walking in the nature? And sleep minimum 8 hours. And we had other presentations about sleep and how to achieve it. So here are just some pictures of what I eat. Do I eat the rainbow? I do. Is it healthy? Yes, it is. And if I'm super busy and I live in France, I go to the shop, it's called Picard, and they have all the frozen fruit and vegetable and meat, and I just buy it and I can prepare it in 10 minutes with some nice spices. So there is no excuse for I don't have anything in my fridge, because there is always something in the freezer. So to summarize, what are the principles of mastery? Modeling. Find somebody who has been where you are just now. Ask them how they have achieved it and let them be your mentors or coaches. That is the fastest way to success. Total immersion. Schedule it in your agenda, because you must find the time for it and you must make it a priority. Spaced repetition. So mastermind is very good for this. If you are in mastermind groups, it's usually once a month. You talk about your challenges, what you have achieved, and you have accountability of the mentor that is leading the mastermind group. Know why you want it. What is the purpose of it? Why do you want to improve your education? Why do you want to sleep better? Why do you want to lose weight? Why do you want to reverse disease? Why? There might be so many reasons. 5 times why. Think about your passion, focus, and clarity. Because if you have this, the what and how you will always find. Thank you.